Hey, everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the NFL version of Today in Sports Betting. Scott Reichel, it's Thursday night, and that means another barn burner of a game. And actually, that's how sad it's become on Thursday night. This is actually considered a probably better than average Thursday night matchup as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers travel to Soldier Field to take on the Bears, the Chicago Bears. Tampa Bay's 3.5-point favorite. 44 in the hook is your total. Brady against, I don't know, who is it going to be? Mitch Foles, Nick Trubisky, I don't know who the heck
They kind of merged together, but one of them has a ring.
God. Oh. It speaks great lengths to Nick Foles that the plays remember for the most. He was actually a receiver. So
yep.
I think that's very fitting. Scott, Tampa Bay got some problems at receiver. They got some guys that are hurt, and they've got some guys that should be trying to make it, to give it a shot. Mike Evans has been banged up most of the year. It looks like he's probably going to give it a shot.
Well, that's a surprise.
Quick question, Scott, for you, little quiz. Who's the leading receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as far as yardage goes?
Well, I would have guessed Mike Evans, but I'm guessing it's not Mike Evans because you wouldn't have asked me. It could be the ultimate trick question because of how you just phrased it. Is it Scotty Miller?
It is Scotty Miller, yeah. Scotty Miller has more receiving yards than Mike Evans, O.J. Howard, or Chris Godwin. So
O.J. Howard's out for the year, so that makes sense too.
Yeah, well, it's not going to get any better either for that matchup. Scotty Miller has a pulled groin. He finally practiced yesterday for the first time. He was limited. Looks like he's going to give it a go. But they're definitely down.
He's going to give it a go. Evans probably will go. I know Justin Watson's out. He's not going to play. For the running backs, Fournette's out, McCoy's out. Barner got suspended for PEDs. They're missing a couple of pieces offensively, and plus O.J. Howard's also out for the year with a torn ACL. So. Yeah, kind of a banged up receiving core for the Buccaneers in the spot.
Yeah, I agree. Now here's the thing.
They're facing the Bears.
Yeah, does it matter? Does it matter? Because when you talk about problems, the Bears.
Well, I just want to ask, how good is the Colts defense? Because statistically speaking, they're basically number one in everything.
The Colts
number one in points against. They're number one in total defense. They're just a really good defensive team. So are the Bears awful offensively, or are the Colts just the most underrated defensive team in the entire league?
The Bears are awful offensively.
I think it's a mix of both.
Well, here's the deal.
I'm just saying I can't just solely roast the Bears and not give credit to Indianapolis because their defense has been very good.
Well, if you like that, the Indianapolis is fourth in the NFL against the run. Tampa Bay is second.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be able to run the ball.
I don't think they can run the ball anyway. What do they got? Montgomery, who hasn't panned out since they drafted him?
He averaged 1 point. Well, the Bears running game averaged 1.8 yards per carry last week, Scott.
Then you got him. Tariq Cohen's injured, right?
What's that?
Is Tariq Cohen injured, or he's just bad? I don't remember if he's injured or not.
Who are you talking about?
Tariq Cohen.
Oh, Tariq Cohen. He's out. Yeah, he's done.
That's what I thought. Yeah, he's on IR. That's what I thought.
You were saying it really fast. I'm like, wait.
Yeah, no, Tariq Cohen. So I'm saying it's either Montgomery, who has not worked out, or some practice squad guy who got promoted. That's not exactly a great backup option from the running back.
I mean, you've got Cordarrelle Patterson, who's listed as a running back.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah. And then after that, you've got Ryan Null and Artavis.
And you also have the Tampa Bay, whose secondary is, I don't know if they're very good because Herbert torched them, but they're opportunistic. And they have a pretty good pass rush. So, yeah, I expect this. I like the under in this game. I'm just going to throw it out there.
Would you rather have Nick Foles or Herbert starting for your team right now?
The truth is I don't like Herbert out of college.
Right.
But he has proved me wrong so far. He has been very good.
I totally agree.
I know Herbert will make one or two throws every game that make you scratch your head and go, well, this guy makes terrible decisions. I gotta go Herbert because the Chargers.
I thought he was big arm, little brain coming out of college.
And he still might be. But the Chargers' offensive line's been atrocious, and he actually has still looked pretty sharp. So I'll go Herbert if I had to choose between the two. Foles,
the most
I think Foles is just a fluke. I just think he had one fluky year where it's like, oh, I'm going to win the Super Bowl. It's like, great, but you're not that good. And that's what I think of Foles. I think he's a better quarterback who comes in off the bench than he is when he starts.
And here's something to keep an eye on, Scott. Because Tariq Cohen was their primary punt returner, and now they've got Darnell Mooney in there, and he's banged up.
Yeah.
So it's a position that you've got to look at. You don't think about it till that guy ain't there.
Correct.
How you leaning? You got the under in this one?
I think I have to lean to the under, right? I mean, both offenses have serious concerns. The Bears can't move the ball, and Nagy's going to go super conservative because he never takes any shots downfield. So I think that he'll go conservative. I think I think the Buccaneers should get some sacks, pressure Foles. Foles didn't look sharp at all against Indianapolis, and even though the Indianapolis defense is very good, if you can't run the ball and you're one-dimensional, you're going to have some serious problems. At the same point, Brady still likes to dink and dunk the ball, and he has a bunch of injured receivers, and he's also missing a bunch of weapons. So the total right now in this game, if you look at it time recording, it's at roughly, what is that, like 45?
44 and a half.
40, yeah. What do you say it was?
44 and a half.
Yeah, it's 44 and a half. It sounds low. Do the Bears get to 20? I don't know. I'll go with the under. I think this game probably finishes 23-17.
Yeah, I don't see how the Bears get to 21. I have a play on this on my play of the day, which is Bears under 20 and a half.
I can't argue with that because Tampa Bay's defense, even though they didn't look great against Herbert last week, they did buckle down the second half and they did take over the game. So they did show signs. I do have a prop that I do like. If you want me to throw it out there.
Oh, of course.
I was looking for receptions for this guy, but I couldn't find it, so I only found receiving yards. But it's going to be on running back Ronald Jones here, and I'm trying to see what the best line is available here. Do they have receptions? Sorry, just bear with me a moment. It's going to be on the receiving yards for Ronald Jones or the receptions, whichever one I could find first, because of the fact that he's going to be getting a ton of snaps here. Looking at the injury report, Fournette's out, McCoy's out, Barner got suspended. You got Keyshawn Vaughn, who might get some run, but for the most part, Jones should get the majority of the touches. He had 6 receptions last week. I know he hasn't gotten many yards, but you're giving me 22.5 at -110, and most of the receiving corps for Tampa's injured. I think that's a pretty good spot for Ronald Jones to catch some passes, potentially get the 30 receiving yards. So I'll go with the over 22.5 receiving yards for Ronald Jones at -110. You have any thoughts on that?
No, I think that's solid. I think
it's a matter of just them being extremely limited with the weapons and the fact that all the other running backs are suspended or injured. So he's going to get a ton of snaps.
Yeah, he is, and I've got him on my fantasy team, so I'm pretty happy about that. But yeah, he's I've got him at that's 22.5 is a good number. I've got 23.5 at +100. So
and the Bears, they're not bad against the run. They're okay. I mean, so Ronald Jones could run the ball, but I don't think he's been that successful running the ball. He had like 1 or 2 good games on the ground for the most part. No, he's been used. He's been on the pass game. He has a serious issue with the drops. He drops a ton of passes, which is a concern because he gets targeted a lot. But I'll still take the targets and the lack of weapons and just go, Jones, if he catches 4 passes or 3 passes, there's a chance he breaks a screen for 20-something yards. So sure, I'll take it. The line seems too low to me.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. And this is a Bears defense that is not been quite as good.
It's fine. It's just not. It doesn't have that wow factor that it had like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's not elite, and Khalil Mack has really had a hard time getting going this season so far. So we'll see what happens. I think Brady's going to be able to carve this team up. I don't know. I don't know how the Bears keep the Buccaneers offense off the field, and I think even with a diminished Brady and a wounded receiving core, I think you give them enough shots. You're just going to give them the ball too many times.
See, that's the point, and I also is why I like the under, because even though the Buccaneers do have a limited receiving core, which hurts, Brady, he's going to slowly and methodically throw these 5-6 yard passes and work his way down for a 7.5-minute drive.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. And if they end up settling for a red zone field goal, people are going to be ripping up their over tickets in the second quarter.
Yeah. Agreed.
So it's going to happen. Both offensive series questions. Chicago, for an offensive genius or an offensive mind, I don't think Nagy's that good. And I feel like a lot of people will agree with me on that. And Arians,
Yeah,
I think, is fine, but the Buccaneers offense, it's
Arians,
fine.
Arians is more than fine. Arians is a fantastic offensive-minded coach.
Yeah, but I'm saying based on the current weapons, I think that limits some of their opportunities down the field.
I have more faith in Arians to put together a game plan for.
No, I agree. I have more faith in Arians as well. I'm just saying that I think Tampa should get into the 20s. Even if they get to 27, do I think that the Buccaneers will allow more than 17 points? I don't know. I think they could win 27-17.
Yes.
So I'll lean to the under.
I've got more faith in the Bears to go under than I do this game to go under. I think
That's fair.
I think Brady and the Buccaneers could have a get ugly late. I
think if the Bears go over, the game's going over. But it's not necessarily the other way around.
Yeah. That's absolutely true. If the Bears go over 20.5, I think this game is going over.
Yeah, I agree with that. So for me, I'll agree with you. I'm leaning under, but I'd rather lean to the Bears team total under. But yes, I'll lean to the Bears team total under, and also lean to the Ronald Jones over in receiving yards at 22.5.
All right, good enough, my friend. I will stick with the Bears team total under 20.5. I do think that.
Yeah. Now, before we wrap up the video, I got to ask you. We got some news this morning. The Titans had another positive COVID test. You have any thoughts on the situation? I don't know if you want to rant or if you don't want to talk about it, but I feel like it's worth bringing up.
I don't. I mean, we're in such uncharted territory here.
No, I mean the Titans forming a breakaway practice about a week ago, violating all rules in terms of social distancing, etc., and how the Titans might have to forfeit the game on Sunday.
I think that's legit. I think you have a set of rules, you have a set of guidelines that everyone has to follow in order to be able to do this whole season, this thing.
I don't understand what the Titans are thinking. The idea is we're not going to practice, we're going to shut down the facility because we don't want COVID to spread. And the Titans decide, it's a great idea. Let's practice in the local park. I'm so confused what's going on.
Well, I mean,
am I missing something? Do they just not believe in COVID? Like, what? I don't know what the thought process is there.
I don't understand it, man. It's.
What's the punishment they should get? Are they forfeiting? Are they going to forfeit some draft picks? They're going to get fined millions of dollars.
I think forfeiting the game should be fine.
Is that enough of a punishment?
I think it is. I do. I mean, I don't know that you need to fine the team or cost them draft picks or anything like that.
I think they're going to fine the team because they fined the Raiders and a bunch of other teams hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh yeah, they're definitely going to fine when they fined them $100,000 for not wearing their mask correctly.
They're going to get fined maybe $1 million.
I wouldn't doubt that.
Yeah,
and that's not a horrible thing. That's not especially. Here's where I'm leaning toward if you're affecting other teams. If you've caused a spread with another team, then I think you throw the book and you absolutely lay the hammer into these guys.
Now I have to agree with the forfeit idea because I thought in baseball, I thought the Marlins and Cardinals should have been forfeiting games when they decided to go to the casino and the club. I thought they should have forfeited games after that.
Certainly could have made that case, and I think if we did that, if we started that baseball season right now in today's environment, I think they probably do forfeit those games.
So my point is that if I was a believer that Miami and St. Louis should have forfeited the games instead of forcing other teams to wait around for a week and a half, I got to be consistent. I think the Titans should probably forfeit the game. That's just my opinion.
I agree.
All right. Anyway, I thought that was worth mentioning because of.
Well, here's the difference. Here's the difference between those two things, Scott. The Titans situation, that was a team sanctioned event. The Cardinals and the Marlins, where they're going to the club, they're going whatever, they're going to the casino. They've done that on their own. They've been irresponsible individually, and it's caused repercussions. The Titans practice. That's something that's, if not sanctioned officially by the team, it certainly wasn't stopped.
The only thing I know is that I don't know how many people in Tennessee have had COVID or tested positive. It's got to be double digits by now. It's got to be. I'm gonna say a random number. I'm gonna guess 14. I'm gonna take a random guess because that sounds a borderline. If you have 14 people on a team who test positive for COVID, why the hell are you practicing when they shut down the actual facility?
I don't understand it, Scott.
That's the point. So I'm not showing any sympathy for Tennessee here. That's just stupid. That's my takeaway. I just think it's stupid. So if you want to forfeit the game, sure. I don't know if you can fully reschedule the situation because of Buffalo's upcoming schedule, etc.
Why should you penalize Buffalo? Because
That's what I'm saying. You're the only thing you're doing is you're punishing the other team for doing nothing.
Yes.
So yeah, I think they should forfeit the game.
23 total cases. Of course, that includes front office personnel as well.
Yeah, I'm assuming players only. I'll say around 14.
I think that's legit. I think you're well into the double digits there.
Yeah. So for that reason, I know it's not a great situation for Tennessee. I know that you don't like to say it's unfair for a team to forfeit. Tennessee has done everything wrong when it comes to protocol. At some point, you lay the hammer because it not only affects Tennessee, it sets a precedent for the rest of the league to fall in line.
Yeah, I agree. And it's the Shield don't fuck around.
Yeah, they don't.
They'll bring the hammer down and they'll bring it down hard. And I think $1 million fine. I think a 7-digit fine. Judging by the fact that like I said, they've fined
the Raiders like hundreds of thousands, like 100,000
coaches. Well, I know they got Steve Spagnuolo for wearing his mask incorrectly for $100,000.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I agree, bud. I agree. No reason to penalize the Buffalo Bills.
It's a random topic, but I felt like it was worth bringing up with all things considered.
Well, there's no way they play this weekend.
They're not playing. No, if you have Josh Allen in fantasy, congratulations, you're picking up Daniel Jones on the waiver wire. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like they're not going to play. There's no chance they're playing. I don't even know if New England's going to play.
No, this is Thursday, and they're still getting new positives.
I was like, I don't know if New England's going to play.
Well, it's going to be a situation like they had Monday night, I think, where they isolate Gilmore, and then hopefully they won't have any more positives.
There's some rumors that Newton might come back because he tested. He was asymptomatic for about 3 days, and there were thoughts that he might come back. I don't know if he's going to. I doubt it, but we'll see. I don't know. All I know is Tennessee. If you have money or you're thinking about betting on the Bills or the Titans, don't even bother. It's just not even worth your time.
No, when you're still picking up new positives the Thursday before the game, no.
If you're looking at Zach Moss or somebody as a waiver pickup, look elsewhere because that's a waste of a pickup. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Good enough. All right, that's our NFL/COVID rant for the day.
Yeah.
So and
it is the NFL show, so I figured we should talk about it. So
yeah, I agree. It's the kind of the elephant in the room, and it had to be addressed. I totally agree. So. But as far as the game goes, Scott and I are really all over this Bears team total under 20.5.
I'm going to lean to Tampa for the spread. We didn't talk about the spread at all. I'm more interested in the Bears team total under and for the Ronald Jones over for receiving yards. I'm going to lean Tampa. I'm not thrilled about it, but this Bears team has some serious problems that even though they're 3-1, they might be the worst 3-1 team in the league.
Yeah, well, they beat the Giants, Detroit, and Atlanta. Congratulations!
They have a combined 1 win. So
you're ready for the Super Bowl. Way to go, guys!
Yeah,
and they were unable to really score many points against two dreadful defenses.
Yeah,
they put up 57 against Detroit and Atlanta, which
they scored 0 points in the second half against the Giants.
Yeah, that's Giants have a legit defense. They're middle.
Kinda. They did somewhat shut down Jared Goff last week.
Yeah.
Still, this team just doesn't have it. It's not a quarterback issue. It's more of a system issue.
All right, very good. All right, so that's it for our NFL show for today, guys. Appreciate you watching as always. And if you want to get, and I'm talking about the deepest dive anywhere into this Thursday night game, check out winnersandwiners.com. I say it every week. You will be stunned at how much information is in there. It requires a table of contents to navigate your way around. So if you're looking to OD on info, check out winnersandwiners.com for all the good stuff on this one. So for myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at winnersandwiners.com, we of course appreciate you watching the show today. Couldn't do it without you. Otherwise it'd just be me and Scott talking sports, which is nobody wants that. So we appreciate you stopping by, checking us out. As always, we hope every single ticket in your pocket cashes today at the window, and we will see you next time on Today in Sports Betting. Take care, everybody.